you gave arguably your best years from 20 to 34 to a bipolar, chaotic drug addict who was physically violent with you, who was involved in criminal activity.
Why do you list bipolar as like...
It's not about you. Relax.
No, I'm just curious. Like,
I mean, we can go there. I know in your pre-show notes you seemed Andrew Wilson had a point about how perhaps it's suboptimal to date somebody who's bipolar, and I tend to agree with him. I'm not trying to shame people who are bipolar, but
I mean, I get it. People have preferences.
People are allowed to.
Right.
People
I'm
are
not
allowed
saying you should have to, but I'm just saying, like...
You think it's wrong?
No.
So then what's your contention here?
The specific clip that I'm referring to is he mentioned that people who are quote-unquote crazy, bipolar, schizophrenic should not have the right to adopt.
Oh, well, I can't...
So, like... I mean,
Andrew's not here. I can't
Yeah,
speak
I get it, but, like,
him,
I was just, like, mentioning that, and then also... Going back to the point that we were talking, y'all were talking about, I think just mentioning bipolar as like one of the negative connotations, along with drug dealer and all those other things.
You don't think
it could get you stabbed in the neck?
If you have proper medication and if you're
but if you don't, I mean, I'm not trying to like throw
not everyone has access
bullets
to
at you, but I'm just saying like it's what led to that, right?
Well,
so you could understand why a person would be apprehensive about dating somebody with it.
I'm not saying you have to like date a certain person, but I'm just saying the list that you had was everything was negative. Mm-hmm. If you replaced bipolar and had a racial, like a specific race there, it would make it very offensive. People would get triggered. But when you use mental health and you use bipolar, then it's like somehow okay.
Well, so do you think? Let me engage.
Or it's like wheelchair. Like if you add that to the list that you just said, that would be very ableist of you to say.
What do you mean ableist?
So would you consider it a positive?
No, I'm saying if you the same list you had, everything was negative, and then if you were to replace the word bipolar with like somebody who has a wheelchair, I'm not saying that's what you said.
Do you think being bipolar is the same as being black?
No, I'm just.
But why would you mentioned specifically if I replaced bipolar with black, that would be racist.
I didn't say those exact words, but I'm just saying. Ableism
Truth
and
Bomb
racism
donated
do exist in your...
Yes, crazy people should not be allowed to adopt. Holy foe.
I actually agree with that.
The thing is, let's just even ignore that. Like, if you were to say somebody with a wheelchair, drug dealer, like blah 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 blah, that would be very ableist.
Can you not have a preference to not date somebody in a wheelchair?
That's very ableist.
Drug dealer is a mental illness. I'm discriminatory against drug dealers.
No, because you were naming a specific list of like describing her previous partner, and everything on there was
Let me ask you a question.
Basically negative.
Is being bipolar ever a positive thing?
It could be a positive. A lot of people have creative minds. Look at Selena Gomez.
No, hold on.
She's absolutely amazing in music, and she's an incredible woman.
Do you think her life is better or worse because she's bipolar?
If you have the proper management and treatment, you can have
people
the
take
same or even better life.
It's gonna make it harder for you on your journey.
Hold on. Let me just say one thing. Look, people who have a mental illness or who are bipolar, I absolutely have compassion for these people. But in my view, nobody's obliged to date you because you're bipolar. And if I can speak frankly,
that's not what I'm saying either.
But if I can speak frankly, yes, I think dating someone who has a mental illness is a suboptimal dating choice. And I personally would not do it, and I don't recommend it to other men.
Yeah, it could be a dating preference. That's totally fine. But the list that you were saying, you were basically describing her previous partner. Everything on that list was a negatively associated red flag thing, and then you added
I don't think
I have
most
compassion.
people would choose.
I have compassion for people.
You don't have to date someone bipolar, but you just.
I have compassion for people who are bipolar and struggling with mental illness issues. However, yes, I think being bipolar, that would be a negative thing in the dating context.
I agree with that. Like you said, you missed your medication for a bit. I'm not saying like you shouldn't do it, but it is more challenging to date someone who is mentally.
Right.
You missed your medication for a few days, and that's why you had an episode. But it comes with a negative connotation because there are like problems that could come from it.
Let's literally ask the woman who was in a relationship with someone that had bipolar disorder. Like, would you say it negatively impacted your relationship?
I definitely think he should have like, he's not with us for a reason, right? Like, there's a reason he's not here anymore. And if he actually was able to get proper treatment instead of trying to self-medicate himself on drugs or whatever to make him feel better, then, you know, that would have been a way more beneficial outcome for him. But, you know, I don't think life was easy for him. I would say that he had a death wish. Like,
So what exactly is your objection to what I said?
My objection is not that you have to date a bipolar person. My
we can agree
objection
on that.
is that the list that you described, basically describing like her previous partner, it had, I don't remember exactly, but it had like drug dealer, like criminal, and like all the different things.
Yeah, negative
and
things.
like all the different things that were very negatively associated and very big red flags.
Yeah.
And
he
then
was
one
very
of them,
charming.
and one of them was basically bipolar. So I don't think it.
Let's simplify this. Is being bipolar a positive thing or a negative thing?
I don't think it should be a positive or a negative, but the list that you had is basically drawing it into a negative way. I definitely do think that people who are artists, if you look at Van Gogh and the amazing art he created, like, or Selena Gomez with his music, there's tons of different creative geniuses.
But for your partner,
Yeah, simplify it more for like in the dating sense though.
Right. And even in
Right.
the dating sense, I think it was kind of offensive for you to like have bipolar in the list of things that are clearly, we would all agree, are like negatively associated.
What? Okay, so you don't think that being bipolar is a negative thing?
No.
Do you take medication? You're bipolar, correct?
Yeah.
Do you take medication for it?
Yes, and I
Why?
see a psychiatrist
Why?
and therapist.
Why do you take medication for it?
Same way somebody has heart disease and have to.
does
take-
anybody want heart disease? Is it a positive to have a heart disease? Like, it's okay. Like, you can say it's negative. Like it's
Like-
negative.
I'll change my example, but if somebody is like tired and wants to take coffee, caffeine is a drug. So
Question.
They're not always tired. It's not like that's a diagnosis.
I feel like it's a challenge more of like than a negative, because
It's-
negative assigns it like a
mean,
negative. Like,
you can dance around this all you
connotation.
want.
if you're
can-
questioning me whether I would like, if there was a magical pill or somehow that I would take away completely 100%, heal my bipolar and schizophrenia, and I would just be going with it, I would say no. Because
say no.
I would say 100% no.
Why?
You feel like it's like a superpower?
Not in that way, but I think there's a lot of like creativity. I mean, I do a lot of different artworks and different.
Do you think all creative people?
Not all creative
have
people,
that?
but I'm saying there's.
So wouldn't you rather
specific-
just be creative and not have bipolar disorder?
That could be an option, but I personally don't think that it's something that I want to like fix essentially.
But what about like some of the challenges you've
Also,
had
is
experience in
Selena
life?
Gomez actually a creative genius? Like, she has a producer. Does she write her own lyrics? She probably, like, I don't know the detail. I don't listen to Selena Gomez. Don't most pop artists?
She's an empowering woman, and also speaks loudly about
she's
bipolar
empowering.
disorder and mental illness.
That's cool,
in
but
women.
like you came at it from this, well, her creativity. But like, don't most pop artists have producers and songwriters?
So what about Van Gogh? I'll throw in another example at you.
Van Gogh.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
he definitely had
So
some.
like, name me one artist that doesn't have
She
a
does.
producer who was able to do all this on their own and is not like.
Well,
You probably can't think of an example. Exactly. So you should probably
think of a who?
like. I said, name an example of an artist.
Is
or
your
somebody.
argument mental illness is good because it inspires creativity in these individuals? Is that your argument?
Well, didn't
I
God
think
make
mental
everyone
illness
perfect?
should not be. Sorry. Go ahead.
Didn't God make everyone perfect? 10 out of 10.
Okay,
There's
derailed.
still
Continue.
broken parts
Answer
of
my
the world.
question. Answer my question.
I don't think mental illness should be seen as a negative thing. It's something that, like, what if somebody, I'm just throwing out an example, like somebody was born with like 4 fingers, or like some certain things that make you unique or allow you to have that specific thought process. I know some people who are autistic like seeing shapes. Like, I think that's very fucking cool. Like, you know, so I don't think it's like something that should be viewed as a negative thing.
Well, we're not seeing you as a negative person, but like you would rather not have mental illness, right?
She said no. She
No.
said
No,
she said she wanted to
she
keep
wants
it.
But then I was asking about like, what about your mental illness? A lot of these like bad outcomes that have happened, like with the case of.
If
like,
I
this-
look back since March of 21 until now, honestly, the amount of progress I've made is a lot better than what it was
Truth
before.
Bomb donated $100. Watch out. She wouldn't change her mental illness cause it gives her an out to delete people and claim insanity. And an artist that does it all on their own is Tom McDonald.
Haven't checked
Tom
out
McDonald's
Tom
dope.
McDonald, but I'll definitely check it out.
Okay, look,
But
again, I'll just
not
restate my
gonna-
position. I have compassion for people who suffer from various mental illness issues. However, in the context of a conversation about dating, yes, it's suboptimal to date somebody who is suffering from a mental illness.
Living underscore donated $100. People love their mental illness because it makes them the main character and unique and different. Saying you wouldn't get rid of your mental issues proves this. Look at all this attention she gets.
So, thank you, Living. Okay, so if you're bipolar, what are some of the like symptoms of that? How could that manifest itself, for example, in a relationship?
Right.
Mood swings?
I mean, right now I'm in medication, so honestly, I haven't had a single hallucination, delusion, or...
What happens if you
like,
forget your medication? Has that happened?
No, I have not.
You've never forgotten
No,
it?
No,
you said you did when you poked.
No, I meant from like 2021 till now.
So, question for you. You know, there was the incidents of you in Las
Right.
Vegas where you sliced the guy or you stabbed him, whatever the framing is. Was your bipolar part of that?
100%, but also I was not treated well. I was not taking my medication.
Wait.
seeking
Nashunabo
therapy.
donated $100. Any sane person knows that it's a negative. I don't want to sleep in the same bed as someone who at a moment's notice may launch a knife into my throat because my cold feet touch her.
You were arrested. You stabbed a guy by your own admission because of your bipolar disorder.
Going
correct?
back, yes.
But is that fair to say?
It's not fair to say just bipolar. If you were to
Okay, perhaps there's other
reiterate
factors. Let's say it's 50% the cause. Would that be fair?
I mean, I don't have my statistics out, but I do know.
Was it
that
a contributing factor?
There's a difference between a bipolar person who's refusing medications, who's not seeking treatment, who's not doing good and taking drugs and alcohol versus somebody who is taking their medication, who is doing really good in school, contributing to society and all of that things. There's a difference between that.
I mean, sure, but
So-
would you say that in your case, was you being bipolar a contributing factor to the Las Vegas stabbing incident?
Untreated bipolar, yes.
Still bipolar.
Untreated bipolar.
Were you treated previously?
Like
Were you-
briefly, but I was off my medication at that time. And
Why did-
currently, I get drug tested just to make sure that there's enough like medication.
Okay.
So
Well, my understanding with bipolar, even if you're medicated, it doesn't 100% diminish the
that's why you have
impacts.
the therapist, and it's like you see different counselors. And
Are you trying to say that it's odd for people to see it as a liability in dating?
yeah, I don't
think that's odd?
Right. Like I think people should take it into
yeah.
context. Like how
You do
what-
see the comedy in this, right? Because of the thing that happened like 2 years ago.
I definitely do see it, but
Okay.
also as a mental health advocate, I don't want my story to be used as something that would like make people think, oh, the bipolar people they're gonna like stab you or something like that. That's why
We're
I'm
not
trying to
saying
talk
that.
right now. And I get it, it's kind of hypocritical in a way, but that's why I'm like being super honest about it and coming on this podcast in the first place, because I'm sure there are plenty of people who have bipolar
But
disorder
you're
who have known somebody's bipolar and they're just judging them out of no reason.
Yeah, but it's not like a character judgment. It's just it's a fact. It's part of their personality. It's something that, a mate should be aware of and decide whether or not that's a factor in dating them.
Right. Obviously, you have your preferences in dating, but Brian earlier used bipolar in a kind of offensive way. By
I mean, look,
listing it.
I'm sure that you would say you wouldn't date a guy that's like 5'2" or something, right? Like,
Right,
and
like,
you would
that's
have no
fine. Like,
worries
people have
about
different-
offending
we
a
have
short
different
man.
Hold on.
preferences.
Like,
Like,
you'll offend a short man, but like
I never said that not wanting to date a bipolar person is like not okay.
you said, saying that it was a negative is a bad
yeah,
thing.
saying that it's a negative.
Is it good to be a 5'2" man?
I mean, like, depends on other factors, but Brian was listing out different things that everything was a red flag, and then
Okay.
Yes,
associating.
and yeah, shoot me.
It also with
Being
kids,
bipolar,
Yeah.
sorry.
being bipolar
Mental illness.
is a red flag.
Yeah.
Sorry, is that offensive?
mental illness also.
Like
runs
you
in
could
the
you
family,
could have
I
a
view.
preference on not wanting to date bipolar person, but the way you were describing it was kind of offensive to anybody who's like had.
Not necessarily.
Well, was it also offensive to drug addicts? Was it also offensive to
offended.
criminals?
I mean,
Like,
I think we
he
would
named
all,
all those
I
things
think we would
together.
all agree that like drug dealers are not okay. Like I think
I've
Yeah,
met some
we can
pretty
all
cool
agree
drug
with
dealers.
bipolar people.
And
are not
initially,
okay.
I thought it
Pfizer.
was the drug use that was causing all of his erratic behavior. And then
What?
when we got back together the last time, and we were both completely sober, he definitely
Johnson & Johnson.
but it was the same.
Moderna. Sorry. My bad. I'm going to get canceled. My bad. All right. I've offended the bipolar lobby. I have compassion for people who are bipolar or are struggling with their mental health, mental illness. I don't think it's wrong to say that it's a negative in a dating context to date somebody who's like got a mental illness that can significantly interfere with their relationship.
you can say you have a preference, but to word it that way. But we can move on.
Okay, fine.
Yeah.
Fine. Okay, I was being offensive. Or
Damn.
was I? I don't think I was.
I think some people with bipolar as
Would
well
you-
would
would you
advocate
date a
that
psychopath?
It's okay not to date them, right?
Would you be like? Do you think being a psychopath?
Like diagnosed.
Let me.
like-
Do you think being a psychopath is a negative thing?
I mean, there's a difference between
no.
a personality disorder and versus bipolar.
Bipolar
isn't that a
isn't
personality-
bipolar cluster B personality disorder?
There's different tiers within the
Is
DSM.
bipolar a personality disorder?
I would have to double check the DSM handbook on diagnoses, but there's a difference between somebody who has like just a little bit of depression versus somebody who's like clinically like there's like
Bipolar.
different right like there's different levels to it obviously. And
so,
I feel like
so
everybody
is being a psychopath a negative thing?
I would have to like evaluate it, especially because like is that like somebody that just says, "Oh, I'm a psychopath," or is it like diagnosed like I don't know, like by
Diagnose.
Yeah.
I would probably not, but I would
Wait,
not.
aren't you worried about offending all the psychopaths that are watching right now?
It's
No.
mental illness.
That's you gotta be careful. Do you see? Look, when it's a personal thing that you're experiencing, you want to reframe it in a positive way because you live with that, right? Like, I think that everybody's compassionate about that. But when that's something that you're going through, to enable you to feel okay about that, like you're going to want to reframe it in a positive way. You don't have to though. You can just admit that it's not the ideal situation that you're living with, and then just like keep taking your medication and doing well in school. If you could look, there's a reason why everybody hears the thing that you're saying and they see it as peculiar, because no one here would wish that they had it. I think that it probably came from rough childhood, I'm assuming. Right? I mean,
I
that's
just want to be embracing the moment. There's a lot of different studies that talk about that life is eternal suffering, and honestly, what I can do is embrace the moment, and instead of like being like this, that, I'm like, wow, like
look.
if I
That's a
look
nice.
back,
That's
I'm
a
like,
nice outlook to have on it. But like, we can still have like negative traits about ourselves and admit it. You know, it's okay. Like, I have stuff about me that I don't like that I wouldn't call it. It's not. I'm not diagnosed, but
I got dandruff.
Is that positive?
I can't believe you just
It's a
admitted
negative.
that.
Why?
It's a negative.
I don't even know.
You should
Don't
have
be
kept that.
I'm offended if you don't want to date me and you
I
list
did
it as a
not
negative.
say that you have to date a
got
bipolar
eczema.
person. I'm just saying the list that you provided was extreme red flags, and then you had the bipolar.
But why was bipolar the only one that's not appropriate to list in the list of red flags? Why,
Because the
like-
other things were clear red flags.
But
like,
to everyone else that's not bipolar, we see that as
like
a clear red flag.
I don't think criminals would get offended that criminal is a red flag in there.
What about a drug addict? What if they say that's mental
I don't think they'll
diagnosis?
get
I'm
offended either,
addicted,
like-
and you don't think so?
I don't think so, but
I mean, are you a drug addict?
no.
Okay, so I mean, if there were a drug addict sitting here,
Checkmate.
they could probably make the exact same argument that you're making about bipolar. You know, it's
They
just
could,
like it's a
but,
personal
like,
thing
I don't
that you're
really
going
see
through.
the charity or any organization that's like.
There are
go-
lots of
go-
charities dedicated for drug addicts.
No,
Yeah,
no,
drugs rewire your
I'm saying the
brains.
opposite direction. Like pro, like let's take a lot of drugs.
Oh,
Like like that. I'm just saying like nobody would be advocating for that.
well, yeah,
If that
nobody
makes
advocates
sense.
to have bipolar disorder either,
Like, I guess I'm here.
right?
I just think it's
It's a
important
treatable
for
thing. Like, it's treated
All right.
because it's not ideal.
Yep. We're just going in circles. We're just I offended her. It was offensive for me to say that to consider being bipolar a negative. So yeah. Going back though, okay, so you're dating this guy, all these negative things.
Yeah.
Except for the bipolar, that was neutral, I guess. You dated him from 20 to 32.
I know.
He took up a lot of years.
Yeah. I know, my best years.
I'm just from the guy's perspective, hearing all these negative things, and maybe it's the case that men appreciate peace in a relationship more than women. Maybe. But it's like some women, not all women, but is it like some maybe love this sort of roller coaster? Like, are you addicted to that excitement?
With him, it got to a point where we were feeding off of each other's energy because we knew. I think we were together for so long, we knew exactly where each other's buttons were. Like, we knew each other better than we knew ourselves to a degree.
Sounds toxic.
Yeah. So, yeah.
And you said during this like 12, 13-year relationship, you only saw one other guy.
Yes.
The guy you dated for 3 years or whatever.
Correct. Yeah.
I mean, how do you, I guess my question is like, how do you go from all that chaos to just dating a normal, good, well-adjusted man?
Well, I never said he was completely well-adjusted. The other
the
guy.
Other guy.
Yeah.
No, but like, I mean in general, like, how do you go?
I think he felt very safe and he felt very different than the guy that I had been with, and I was looking like for that safety and to feel like comfortable, like that I think he really, really liked me, like, and I knew that, and so I felt really safe in that. But it wasn't actually a good relationship where we were both. I think I was kind of using him to a degree to get over my
You gave up 13 years of your life.
I thought we were gonna have kids and get married one day. You know.
What? This is the guy you wanted.
The crazy guy. I know.
It's the I can fix him.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Have you heard the
100%.
saying you can do
I'm in love,
anything
chaos.
to a woman except bore her?
Yes, I have that written down in
Really?
my notes.
Yeah.
Gangster.
So this
It
will
is
explain
so
too.
true. I just
Wait, what?
You can do anything to a woman except bore her. And it's the
I like
most
that
true
quote.
statement that, I mean, if you really think about the things that you're attracted to and where you start to lose the spark with somebody, it's when it gets comfortable and it's when it's too safe and it's boring.
Yeah.
It's facts.
Yeah.
Facts.
Agreed.
It's facts.
I'm also an only child. My parents were never married, but they lived together my whole life. So that's super complicated. I basically watched them growing up just like annoy each other enough to get like a reaction and prove that the other one still gave a shit about them.
That's
you know? So that was my role models. So it makes it tough.
Yeah.
Do you feel like you felt like really trapped in it too? Because I feel like that's something that before I started dating my fiance, I would like feel trapped to dating these terrible guys.
I do, because I feel like I was always the excuse for my parents. Well, we're doing this for you. We're staying together for you. But it's like, if they had just split up and I would have saw them in a happy relationship, I feel like that would have been so much more beneficial.
Yeah.
You know? But
It does sort of, we were talking about stereotypes earlier, and you mentioned the thing about when you can do anything but bore a woman, basically. There's this sort of stereotype that seems to exist in women, but not so in men. Like, men aren't really like chasing after the bad girls. But women are attracted to bad boys, jerks, assholes. But there's not really that corresponding thing in men, which I find interesting.
That is more of a masculine trait, right?
I don't think it's a masculine trait. My theory, and it's just a theory, is that the reason why women might be attracted to, there's this term called hybristophilia, like attraction towards criminality, essentially. My thought process, my theory on why that could be, is that one of the things women look for in men is the ability to protect, to be a protector. And a man who's more willing, and also to provide too, a man who's more willing to bend the rules to procure resources could, in some conceivable survival situation, be more capable of providing and protecting.
Yeah.
Also, a man who has greater capacity for violence could be deemed more attractive because they're more prepared to be violent and protect her in some sort of
evolutionarily. Like if you boil it down to like caveman times, right? The most alpha one would kill the least one if it meant protecting the tribe, or just like, you know, and a criminal sort of like evokes these visceral feelings from women. This is why like murderers are in jail with pen pals and with women that will come for conjugal visits. Because it does something to your loins or whatever.
A lot of women love chaos. They love adrenaline. They love the thrill because it entertains them and they're never bored.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know the name of the website, but there's literally a website where you can look up mugshots and like find their address and like send them later. Like I've seen TikToks of like girls be like, oh, let me go on the site and see which one I want to send mail to. Like,
to your credit, that is a good point. There is a higher number of women who will like reach out to men in prison, for example, looking to start some sort of romantic relationship. They'll be pen pals with these men. They'll pursue romantic relationships with these men. Some men do that too, but there's a much higher percentage of women that do this. And but yeah, that's a great point, Madison, that there does seem to be this thing where it's like a lot of women would prefer to be with like a kind of toxic but exciting guy versus kind of like the just kind of maybe a little dull, boring, good guy but dull and boring.
I've been both of those guys. I've seen the difference between my dating life.
I also think it has to do with like sometimes the way that the women grow up, because if you're around criminality more, if your family is like gang members, or like if you just grow up in like that type of community, you're more used to it, so it's like not crazy to you, like it's normal.
But also like childhood like trauma or like not having the father around, I think that's what makes girls want to attracted to that type of guy.
Let me just drop a Bible verse here. Proverbs 21:19. Better to live in a desert than with a quarrelsome and nagging wife.
How is the wife nagging in this situation?
What do you mean?
Like, what does that have to do with what we're talking
I'm saying
about?
right now. No.
I'm saying like I think men place a far greater value on peace in a relationship than women do.
Do you feel that way?
Oh yeah.
Do you want to feel like completely safe in a relationship with a woman? I heard you say before you might not want to ever get married, right?
Yes.
So what's the goal? Like a life partner, just not with the contract?
Pretty much.
Okay.
Pretty much. That's
don't want
the dream. Don't want the government involved. But yeah, I mean, like one of the biggest things I think is actually, you were there when we had Orion on. Maybe you can recall exactly what Orion said, but I think one of the biggest things that a woman can do to make herself appealing to a man is, do you remember? Inoffensive. Being inoffensive. Now, I think bringing peace. Orion's thing was like, well, you should have peace in your life already.
Yeah.
But my thing is, peace is lack of chaos. I think.
Yeah.
Do you want that?
Lack of chaos?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You don't want any chaos.
No chaos.
You have the most chaotic podcast on
That's
the
the
internet.
thing. So in my relationship,
in your relationship,
I already deal with, like, I think that's the thing with, like, especially, like men who are entrepreneurs or business owners or any guy that's like out there grinding.
Yeah.
Like we're already fighting the world and we don't want to be fighting with our girl in a relationship. I want like total peace in my relationship. So yeah, being inoffensive, I think, or was that?
And it was just like respecting your man, or like showing him a lot of respect.
Yeah, respect
like,
and being inoffensive.
Respecting him no matter what.
Like a girl who's always quarreling, nagging, arguing, taking issue with like little things.
What about a really calm girl but chaotic surroundings, so she could tell you stories every day? Like very interesting.
Wait, what do you mean?
stories.
Like she's calm?
She's calm, but the people she surrounds herself, like the people she surrounds, like her friends, just are doing the wildest things, and she can always tell you about it.
I think friends can have a massive influence on you, and I would question typically, if you have a group of 5 like say they're all drug dealers, but one is like the goody two shoes, I feel like eventually that one might end up slinging some crack. Just saying.
Well, they say you're the sum of like the closest 5 people around you, right?
Yeah.
I think men don't really care about being entertained to the extent that women do. Also.
Yeah, just
so like you probably don't even want to hear their stories.
Patrice O'Neill, I don't know if you guys know him. Rest in peace, Patrice O'Neill.
Yeah.
He's got this saying is, how does it go? Maybe chat can help me. It goes something like, we want you around.
Oh yeah.
Wait, do you know it?
Yeah, we want you around, but we don't want you around. It's like you want the comfort of having a woman, right, or a partner, and not having them there all the time.
Let me just.
Like, we want
to
you
make
with
sure.
us, but not. Yeah.
Not really with us.
Yeah.
It goes, wait, hold on. Men want to be alone, but we don't. Sorry, fuck, it's not loading. Men want to be alone, but we don't want to be by ourselves.
Would you find it to be a red flag if a woman thought the same way as that?
What do you mean?
So, like, let's say a woman also wants that. Like, they don't want to be alone,
Rest in peace.
but they want to be by themselves. Like, what if a woman thought that way? Would you be okay? It sounds like a great pair, you would think.
Lauren donated $100.
Rest in peace.
Do any of these girls actually know how an abortion happens? Have the pro-choice girls answer first, then the pro-life girl answer second.
What does that mean, how it happens?
That's like
Okay.
What happens in an abortion?
Do you guys know how it happens? Anybody know how it
I think
happens?
you can take a pill up to like 8 or 10
Yeah.
weeks and then just
And then
have
there's-
an abortion at home basically by yourself, or you can have it surgically removed after that. I don't know exactly up to when, but
Yeah.
How do y'all think?
Well,
You are not.
No, don't.
You are
What?
not.
What's wrong with it? It's just medical.
Don't.
You brought props.
Don't.
If I could get them through TSA,
No.
then I could get them.
No.
Oh my gosh.
Christian Carrot Top here.
No, hey,
They're
no,
medical tools according to
Yo,
TSA.
kindly,
have that in
hold
your
on. Just
bag,
kindly,
or-
I don't want to, look, I don't know if it's fine or not with YouTube TV.
Can I
So
at least
you
have
think
the
it is
baby?
a
Nah, nah.
Not a baby.
Yo, hold on, stop. This is my podcast. I've told you no repeatedly.
Is the baby okay? Not the.
Nah, just put that fucking shit away.
that's such a cute
Bro,
purse.
I have a
didn't know
mind
you
to
had a
fucking
baby
kick
in
you
there.
off the podcast right now. I told you no. I don't have an issue with your position, but we have to be considerate of YouTube guidelines, Twitch guidelines. I don't know what you're pulling out.
It's
Like,
just-
don't play
it's
that
just-
fucking game with me.
No. It's just the doll. I carry it around all the
Yeah,
time.
but if I say no,
Yeah, no, it's fine. I
Please.
didn't hear you over everyone else.
yeah, oh, of course, that's fucking bullshit. You fucking heard me.
Okay, I apologize, but
Yeah, don't try to, like, what are you trying to fucking do? Come on my podcast and get my fucking channel nuked? I don't know what you're trying to fucking show.
Well, you could have just asked me that.
I literally told you no.
Well, I did. That's why I put it away. I didn't know.
You put it away after I had to, like, put my foot down repeatedly.
I didn't know it was a problem. I mean,
That's why I
staff
told
told
you
me.
no.
Okay, and I put it away. I put it away. I didn't know it was a problem. I mean, your staff saw me bring it in, and I didn't think
What?
it was a problem. When they searched my
I
bag,
don't
they
see
didn't-
them scissors up in there like that.
I apologize. It's nothing that would get me taken down though. So I apologize if that triggers you. I just didn't mean
It
to bring
doesn't, bro.
something.
Hold on. Let me make something very clear. I don't have a issue with your pro-life position.
Okay, that's
What I do have an issue with is you presenting anything on camera that could negatively impact my YouTube channel. Now, I know that, again, I don't have an issue with your thing, but, like, kindly respect.
Have I not seen Trent Horn show pictures of babies and bring books on the show?
This is the Whatever podcast.
Yeah,
What?
on the Whatever podcast.
No.
I don't recall what was shown or not in the Trent Horn debate. But if you show certain imagery that's
Yeah.
gruesome,
I
yes,
wasn't gonna
that
show
will
anything
negatively
gruesome.
impact my channel.
I'm pretty sure they showed pictures of what a fetus would be at certain weeks or whatever, but they didn't show what an abortion would look like.
Yeah, I wasn't gonna go and rip the doll apart. I'm not a crazy person. I mean, that is what happens in an abortion, but obviously I'm not gonna damage it. It's just a doll and forceps. It's a medical tool. It wasn't anything bad. I wasn't trying to sabotage your podcast.
I think forceps are used for more than just abortions, though, are they not?
Yeah, but in abortions,
Okay,
they're
but
used
look,
as
I'd rather err on the side of being
that's
cautious
fine.
and not
I
potentially
understand.
risk
That's why I
the
put them
video
away.
getting fucking
I
demonetized
understand
because you
that.
want to rip. Like, look, again, I don't have an issue with your position, but it is like a pro-life strategy to show like gruesome pictures of abortions and shit.
I didn't bring a gruesome picture.
I know, but you're rifling through your purse and like this shit's live.
Okay,
This shit's
and that's why I
fucking
put
live.
it away. I'm respecting your decision.
Oh my god,
Like,
bro.
Brian, I get you, but why did why did the staff just, like, I don't know.
I don't think they
Shut
knew
the
exactly
fuck
what was
up,
in there or what she was
bro.
going to
Oh
do.
my god, you
I'm
can't argue for
respecting.
shit.
I don't understand why you're angry. I put it away. I respect your decision.
You weren't though.
Did
I had
not
to
put
say
them-
no multiple times.
I did not hear, and once I heard you say no, I started putting them away, and I asked
She
you
didn't
for
hear me.
clarification.
Did she?
I just don't.
It was kind of loud when
I
she
put
opened her
the
purse.
I put the
but-
tool
Okay.
I put the tools away immediately. I kept the baby because I don't really see how a baby could get your content taken down.
Yeah, but I don't know what kind of shit you're trying to do. Like,
Okay, you could have just asked clarifying question.
it should have just. If I just say no, like that
Okay,
should
and
be
that's
the
why I
end
put
of
it
it.
away. And I apologize.
No, I had
if
to be pretty forceful multiple times.
I put the tools away right away. I just held the baby in my hand. I wasn't waving in the camera. I was just holding it and putting it back in my purse.
To be fair, when people ask what an abortion is and then you start pulling forceps and a baby out of your purse, that's
I was
kind of
just
a little
question.
weird.
It's not like
It's a little odd.
It's not like I came on and started waving the tools or anything in your face. I wasn't trying to be. I'm not trying to be disrespectful of your podcast at all, and I respect your decision. I was trying to answer the question, and I just happened.
So
to
maybe
Right,
ask
but-
before you do it. That would probably be most
Okay,
respectful.
if I had known that was an issue, I would have. But if I can bring all of that through TSA airport security,
What?
then I don't really
What
see
does
why.
TSA have to do with YouTube and Twitch
'Cause
TOS?
I thought it was a whole weapons thing as the issue of why it could get taken down. Is that not?
No, it's not a weapon. It's just
We're
like
talking about abortion. That's like a really serious subject.
So we're not allowed to talk about abortion on here now?
We're not allowed to like.
no, bro.
showcase,
I'm
like-
just being over. I'm just being risk averse to like
Yeah, and I'm
you
respecting your
potentially
decision.
bringing
I'm just-
something that again don't have an issue with what you're preaching at all. My issue is YouTube and Twitch have very strict guidelines when it comes to
Okay.
what we can show. So
I'm respecting your decision.
All right, bro. I'm going to move on. We're not going to even go there. All right, Gigi, does everyone actually know what bipolar disorder is by definition?
I mean, I'm not a clinical psychologist, and I don't want to give out a definition because I'm not certified in that, but I can speak on my own experiences of what it means to like have bipolar. But essentially, like, there's different stages, or a lot of people have like different mood swings, and the mood swings are not like 24 hours, like I feel up and down like within hours. It's more like weeks, like 2 weeks of like obviously not like taking into account the medication, but 2 weeks of like extreme energy, like no sleep, just getting shit done, like on. And then like next 2 weeks, I might literally just be so tired and exhausted and depressed, like in bed and not able to do anything. So that's one of the things, but I also have like schizophrenia, which is like the delusion aspect of it, but that's what I would describe like my personal bipolar.
So no definition. That's just me as well.
All right, Carrie
I don't want to
Kitty.
give out wrong medical like definitional or terms. If